And just last week, the state activated crisis standards of care in North Idaho and the Panhandle for the very first time. Could the Treasure Valley be next? That was a big topic of discussion during today's Idaho Health and Welfare Weekly Briefing. Our Shira Matsuzawa is here. She listened in and has what they discussed. Shira?
Well, Mark, Director Dave Jepson called a move to crisis standards of care in our region imminent several times during today's briefing. He said, we continue to set new records each week and continue to increase the number of patients in the hospital, the number of patients in the ICU, and the number of patients on ventilators. And that's why he says crisis standards of care in the Treasure Valley could happen soon if things don't change.
All the metrics we track are trending in the wrong direction.
Another weekly COVID-19 media briefing with the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare.
Our ventilator use is at the highest level we've seen so far as well.
And the same message to the public: get vaccinated.
The numbers continue to increase. They continue to increase at an alarmingly fast rate, and we do not see a peak in sight.
Right now, Idaho's state healthcare leaders say crisis standards of care remain in effect for the Panhandle and North Central health districts in Idaho. On Tuesday, Director Dave Jepson said without a course change, we could see that happening here in the Treasure Valley soon.
But there were very, very few ICU beds available in the Treasure Valley over the weekend. There was a large increase in the number of patients in the hospitals over the weekend, upwards of 60 new COVID patients into the hospitals, and that has further stressed the system. I don't know for a fact when a hospital may make a request. But looking at the numbers and talking to the hospitals, I will say again, I think it is imminent for the Treasure Valley and Magic Valley areas.
He adds when hospitals have to ration care, it affects all of us, not just COVID patients. But that wasn't the only concern discussed on the media briefing.
We are watching with increasing concern the rising number of cases in younger populations. Last week, we had 630 cases identified among teens aged 13 to 17 years of age.
That's a record in Idaho for the entire pandemic.
And what I want you to pay attention to is that in 2020, over half the deaths in Idaho were occurring among people 80 years of age or older.
That's what you see in the lavender color. Dr. Catherine Turner says compare that to this year. More than half of the deaths are between the ages of 50 and 79, and that's the green color.
And furthermore, the percentage of all deaths that are occurring among all COVID deaths that are occurring among people 18 to 49 years has doubled this year compared to the same time last year.
Now, I asked if the Treasure Valley has ever hit crisis standards of care before. The answer was no. How that would work, though, is a hospital or hospitals would first have to make that request. And as of Tuesday afternoon, the Department of Health and Welfare say they have not received a request from Treasure Valley hospitals. Mark?
Yeah, that's a term that not many of us knew anything about prior to it being enacted in North Idaho 2 weeks ago.
Right, and now it seems like that's all everyone is talking about. So
Right.
it's...
All right, Shira, thank you. Now,